another episode of Margaritas with Michael. So in this episode, we're going to follow up on some of what we talked about last time regarding the gospel as a political claim that Jesus Christ is Lord. And what I want to do is elaborate and defend that line of thinking that the gospel is the proclamation that Jesus Christ is Lord. One of my favorite things to do is to ask theologians or pastors to tell me what is the gospel in one sentence. So they only get one sentence to say it, and they have to tell me what the gospel is. And I usually get some very interesting answers, and I can't help but think that what Christians, and including these pastors and theologians, often do is they just take their favorite part of Christianity, abstract that, and then call it the gospel. So maybe your favorite part of Christianity is grace. Grace is awesome, super cool. So then the gospel becomes grace. Or maybe it's heaven, going to heaven when you die. So the gospel becomes like the mathematical equation in the sky for how we get to heaven when we die. Others try to somehow pack like everything, make everything the gospel. So it's like the gospel is creation, fall, redemption, new creation, or whatever. Anyways, I get a lot of different answers, and there's a way in which the gospel is one of those concepts where you can look at it through various different angles and see different aspects and highlight those. And there's a sense in which that's okay. There's also another sense in which we can miss the forest for the trees. So I think a really good way to get a glimpse of the forest and be able to see the size of the gospel is to focus in on why in the world did the apostles choose to identify and proclaim the core message of the coming and the dying and the rising and the ascending of the Messiah as a gospel. So they could have called it a lot of different things. They could, but they chose the term gospel, or in Greek euangelion, for this, what scholars sometimes call the Christ event, the coming, dying, rising, and ascending of the Messiah. So they had other options, but they went with gospel, and that's an interesting choice. And I think what we have to recognize is that gospel is not a word that they invented. They didn't just, create it. They were working within an existing language and within an existing culture where gospel, euangelion, had significant meaning, and that meaning was political. So, a great way to express a gospel is with Harry Potter. So, if you haven't seen or read Harry Potter, then you're just SOL at this point. This is on you, because I'm about to spoil the whole thing. All right, so movie number 8, book number 7. Haven't read the books, but I have seen the movies. I'm sorry to all the real fans. Voldemort is carrying back the dead body of Harry Potter. Yes, Harry Potter dies. Told you should have read it or watched it. Carrying back the dead body of Harry Potter, and he walks into the courtyard of Hogwarts and says, with a big old smile on his face, "Harry Potter is dead!" Just in victory, he's celebrating, he's excited. Harry Potter's dead. My enemy is defeated. That is the gospel. And then he follows it up with the next sentence, which is perfect. He says, and from now on, you put your faith in me. That is exactly how these concepts functioned within the ancient world. Maybe in the next episode we'll do more on faith, because it is a little bit wider and larger, but it was closely tied to gospel. And a gospel is always a announcement of enthronement. So generally, it was either when a newborn son to the reigning monarch or ruler was born. Good news, everybody. Gospel, Evangelion, the king just had a baby boy. So get busy kissing his butt, because he's going to be king in about 15, 20 years, and you're going to want to be on his good side. So give your faith, pledge your allegiance to him. Or it's a negative thing, like with the Voldemort example. It's, hey, good news, everybody. Your king is dead. That doesn't sound like good news. We kind of didn't really want to lose that battle to the Roman Empire. But good news, your king is dead. Now, put your faith in Caesar, because Caesar is Lord. It's an announcement of enthronement. So, the gospel, when the apostles are proclaiming, on the day of Pentecost, the one who you have crucified is both Lord and Christ. This is a claim that he's the Christ, the Messiah that has been anticipated, has been looked for, the Son of David, the King that's going to come. Not only that, though, he's Lord. He is an emperor. He is over the domains of all the rulers. And this is Jesus's last words that he says to his disciples in the book of Matthew when he's doing the Great Commission. He says, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore. So this enthronement of Christ, the way that the gospel expresses the authority of Christ as over heaven and earth, over everything that exists, invisible and invisible, as Paul says in Colossians. This is core and central to what the gospel is claiming. So back to my original definition and assertion, the gospel is the proclamation that Jesus Christ is Lord. And that's bedrock. That's the foundation for all political theology. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Margaritas with Michael.